Thank you for staying with Republic. I'm Suesha Samant as we get you the latest as far as the US presidential race is concerned. Yes, after Joe Biden formally withdrew from the presidential race, many senior Democrats who have rallied behind US Vice President Kamala Harris, who is emerging as the new front-runner. Now, while Biden has given a go-ahead, what is also important is that President Barack Obama, the former US president, who also must support this nomination. In fact, as he remains as one of the tallest leaders of the party, his endorsement that would give the Harris campaign some much needed legitimacy and support. Let me cut across to Krutarth, who is gathering more details on the same. Over to you, Krutarth.
Yes, Suesha, indeed, and there is a lot of buzz in the United States, where Barack Obama is yet to throw his weight behind Kamala Harris, the vice president who is emerging as one of the frontrunners in the Democratic nominee race. Now, remember that the Democrats had already voted for Joe Biden to be the Democratic nominee for later in November for the presidential elections against Donald Trump. But now that President Biden is out of the race, all the senior Democrats have now thrown her weight, including President Biden, who is the incumbent president, behind Kamala Harris as the potential nominee that can run against Donald Trump. Now, remember that when Biden withdrew from the race 4 days ago, a lot of former presidents, including Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, who was the former candidate against Trump back in 2016, were one of the first people to throw their weight behind Kamala Harris as the next presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. However, it came to surprise to almost all the people looking at US politics closely that despite of Barack Obama being one of the first people to throw weight and accept Biden's withdrawal from the race as a huge move and congratulate him for his legacy, he did not mention Kamala Harris in his address. In fact, let me read out the excerpts of what he had said. He said that we will be navigating uncharted waters in the day ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. So clearly there is a distinction between all the top Democrats who have so far backed Kamala Harris, including Nancy Pelosi, the former House Speaker, and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, but Obama is withholding his nomination. And there is a lot of speculation whether he is going to endorse any other candidate, whether Michelle Obama is going to get into the race, or is there any other presidential nominee that is potentially going to emerge out of it? So Barack Obama staying out from throwing weight beyond Kamala Harris is one of the big stories.
Oh yes, absolutely. And we continue to track all the developments as Biden spoke this morning, as per India time, of course. And we also play out some of the excerpts of what he said, where he not just put out his full support to Kamala Harris, but he also went on to speak of what they say is for America's future. Take a look.
After announcing his abrupt exit from the race to the White House, US President Joe Biden, in his address to the nation, spoke about passing the baton to the new generation, hinting about the generational change in the Democratic leadership before the 2024 US presidential elections.
My vision for America's future all merited a second term, but nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation.
Listing his priorities for the next 6 months, President Joe Biden promised to keep the United States strong and keep the NATO stronger.
We'll keep rallying a coalition of proud nations to stop Putin from taking over Ukraine and doing more damage. We'll keep NATO stronger, and I'll make it more powerful and more united than any time in all of our history.
Joe Biden also ensured that peace will be restored in the Middle East, that is witnessing 8-month-long war between Israel and Hamas.
I'll keep doing the same for our allies in the Pacific. You know, when I came to office, the conventional wisdom was that China would inevitably surpass the United States. That's not the case anymore. And I'm going to keep working to end the war in Gaza, bring home all the hostages, and bring peace and security to the Middle East and end this war.
Pitching for Vice President Kamala Harris for the post of US President, Biden thanked Kamala Harris. Biden also added that he kept his commitment by appointing first black woman in office.
The violent crime rate is at a 50-year low. We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office. I've kept my commitment to appoint the first black woman to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. I also kept my commitment to have an administration that looks like America and be a president for all Americans. That's what I've done. I'd like to thank our great Vice President Kamala Harris. She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable.
After the assassination bid, Trump twisted the political Game of Thrones in the United States. But Biden's sudden exit has intensified the race for the White House.